Paltrocast. Well, Mark, aside from talking to this guy and doing press, good day for you so far?
Yeah. It's been an interesting day. I've been fixing up music videos and other stuff. So yeah, busy times at the moment.
Yeah, most people put out a solo album during their downtime, not when they have a huge North American tour on the horizon or anything like that. So when did you actually finish Starbound Stories?
Hey, when did I finish it? That's a good question. Let me think. So we're in August now. So I think it was all finished probably around April, May, I think. Maybe a little bit before that. So yeah, obviously been working on it for a while, but around that time is when we were kind of getting happy with the mixes and having something that was, ready to go. So yeah, it's been about 2.5, 3 years in the making. So yeah, finally had that kind of, the finished files at that point.
A lot of pressure on you, from my perspective, on this solo record, because not only do you have to sound great and the songs are great, etc., but you also have to have cool visuals, because that's kind of the brand from you and DragonForce. So are the videos the last thing that gets done?
Yeah, so basically the videos get done once the whole album is finished, or maybe in hindsight it would have been good to do them earlier, but yeah, I learned from my mistakes. But yeah, we basically had the whole album laid out. We knew which songs we wanted to make the videos for, so did them all kind of after the mixing and mastering process. But yeah, I'm actually working on one right now because I want to do a third video before the album actually drops. So that's something that I'm now doing, because now I'm apparently a video editor as well. So I'm spending all my free hours doing that. But I'm really looking forward to it though. I think it's going to be the best one because I did it.
I had to learn video editing around the time of COVID. Was that the case for you too?
Oh, right. No, I mean, COVID for me was when we started doing the album. So that's kind of like what I used my free time for back then. But no, this is something I'm having to pick up now, basically, because yeah, you can't trust people to do things right first time, and everything comes back with the problems. I'm kind of watching a bunch of YouTube tutorials, learning how to do all these effects and stuff like that. But yeah, it's fun. It's another little skill to learn that's useful, I guess.
Now, the people who played on this solo record are all over the world. Will we be able to hear any of these songs performed live at any point?
Well, that's a good question. With the people that actually are supposed to play on them, probably not, because yeah, like you said, they're from everywhere. So it would be hard to put that together. But the project was kind of started off more as just a project, but now that it's, I'm on Napalm and people are seeming to like the songs with in anticipation for the launch and everything, it's definitely something I'm thinking of, because it would be a shame to not play them live. But with the way that the DragonForce touring schedule is looking at the moment, it's going to be quite hard to fit something in, because it's not as if I can just grab 3 friends and just go on tour and play them. Like it's complicated, the songs are complicated, and it'll take a while to figure out how to pull that off. And the other thing is as well that I think it wouldn't do the songs justice to just put on a very what's the word, like minimal stage show for it. Like if I was going to do it, I kind of want it to be special, and to so a lot of time and thought will have to go into that if I want to kind of make it happen. But yes, certainly would like to, that's for sure.
Well, your alternative is to do what Ian Brown from the Stone Roses has done, which is the karaoke version, where it's just him on stage singing to the instrumentals of the Stone Roses songs. So, I mean, there's always that tragic iteration of what you could do.
Yeah, no, I had slightly higher hopes for my album than that, but I guess if it all falls apart, then yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, so if you can take a compliment right here, you're still singing at a top level. These are not easy songs to sing on your record or with DragonForce. How much vocal care and prep is there for you on a regular basis?
To be honest, the amount of sort of warming up and stuff that I do these days is quite a lot less than it used to be. Because I think after a while my voice just kind of knew where to go. Like it just sat naturally in this range after a while. But saying that though, because I've been recording this album and I've been recording a DragonForce album at the same time,
Yeah.
I guess I have been using my voice a lot, so that would explain why it's still, I'm able to do it. But yeah, I guess I'm singing so much that I don't need to warm up anymore, and I don't really pay too much attention. But at the same time, I also don't have any of those habits that are really bad for your voice. So try and avoid all those usual pitfalls for singers.
So you never had that phase of the vocal doctor going, hey, you got polyps, you got to change from the throat voice to the chest voice. You didn't have one of those moments?
Well, I did have some of those moments, but they were quite a long time ago. It wasn't polyps or anything, but any fans of Dragon Force that kind of remember when I first joined, I went to the US to do a show, and I had laryngitis before I went there. So before I went, I said, listen, guys, there's no chance of me singing this well. And they said, oh, just turn up. I'm sure I'll be fine. And I turned up, and we did everything we possibly could to make it happen. So I had there's this thing, like a steroid injection that they give singers sometimes, this injection in your butt cheek. And they gave me that, and they gave me all this other stuff, but nothing saved it back then. So I have had those moments, but not for a while, thankfully.
So you learn what not to do early into the Dragon Force run, and that's why you're stronger than ever, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've got laryngitis, then don't try and sing. That's my advice. Yeah. A few of the
or
things,
play the tracks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just have someone else do it would be the best thing.
Well, I find that people, their day job in terms of what they sing, usually they like the exact opposite kind of music. So for example, when I interviewed Rob Halford, he was talking about how he was thinking of doing a blues record. And at the same time, he'd done a Christmas record, which has nothing to do with Priest or Fight or Two or anything like that. What's your other kind of music, or are you just all metal, anime kind of stuff all the time?
No, if I'm totally honest, I can't remember the last time I mindfully put on a power metal record to listen to it, to enjoy.
Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, actually, funnily enough, now this is going to sound like I'm bullshitting, but the only album I have been listening to is my own. But I haven't got bored of it yet, which is weird, because most power metal these days, I don't really want to listen to it. But my go-to music for like when I'm working on other stuff, or if I'm just sort of chilling out, is normally stuff without vocals, like a lot of video game soundtracks I listen to a lot of. And apart from that, like 70s progressive rock, stuff like Yes and Rush, and kind of happy music and some melancholy music. But yeah, none of it's power metal, because to be honest, I think I've just heard too much of it. It's just, you know what I mean?
It's your day job.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the last thing I want to hear when I come back from a tour where we've been playing at 200 BPM for like 3 months or something. The last thing I want to hear is more of that. So yeah, the opposite to it is normally what I go to.
Yeah, I remember seeing recent soundcheck footage backstage of Megadeth playing jazz before they were going on stage, and they weren't laughing, just that's how they kind of warmed up. So I kind of figured that the first 6 months of being in Dragon Force is all power metal all the time. Then you kind of go, is it golf? What's the exact opposite of that? Were you ever a golfer? Because I'm finding the golf metal overlap is huge.
Really? No, yeah. I'm not a golfer, but funnily enough, when I got to that stage of just being bombarded with power metal all the time, for some reason, the only thing I could think that I really wanted to do, one of them was painting, like oil paintings, or fishing. I never got into fishing, but like those are my two things that I think if I was going to do something else, it would be those. Like they couldn't be more far away from speed metal. But yeah, golf though, I never got.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but the metal fishing overlap is huge. Like I was asking the singer of Candlebox, so this is the farewell tour. What are you going to do after that? And he goes, I'm going to launch a liquor. I'm going to fish a lot. Nice. Does anyone in the Dragon Force crew bring fishing gear on tour? Because I've seen that happen where the band puts the fishing and the golf gear in the trailer.
No, they don't actually. No, we don't have any keen fishermen or golfers in the bus. But maybe the first one to do that will be me, maybe on the next tour.
Sounds good. Well, 3 quick questions before I let you go. And the first one is, with this new record, are there leftovers? Are there songs that could eventually come out as bonus tracks or deluxe edition kind of things?
So there's a bunch of songs that basically had to be cut because obviously the time constraint on the actual physical vinyl wouldn't allow them. So there were about 4 or 5 songs that definitely were worthy of being on the album that we kind of decided to not put on there. But when choosing the sort of track list, I wanted to make sure everything was like nicely paced, and there were quite a few songs that, you know, a few faster songs that would have made the whole thing a bit more frantic and a bit more DragonForce-y. So I kind of left them. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, but if they're going to be used, they will be used for a second album as opposed to any kind of bonus material, because all that stuff's already sorted out now, or the deluxe edition and everything is already available for pre-order if you want to do that. So
good old Napalm Records. Well, the last two questions are going to be stupid ones. Are you ready for the stupidity?
Yes.
Okay. I'm also a fan of Marc Hudson, the songwriter producer. I've run into him on the street here in New York, but I think he lives in Italy or he lives in Europe. Have you ever gotten mail that was meant for the other Marc Hudson?
Wait, there's actually a legit other Marc Hudson?
Yeah, I mean, he's Mark M-A-R-K, but he co-wrote Aerosmith's Living on the Edge, and he's Ringo Starr's right-hand man for a couple of decades, and he's kind of what they call a song doctor. So I guess the answer is no. He's got these goatee rainbow colors. Right,
no, I never heard of him, but then, yeah, I guess if he had Mark with a C, then we'd probably have that problem, but no, I have to admit, never heard of the guy, unfortunately.
I asked that to Paul Gray because there was a Paul Gray in Slipknot and Paul Gray in The Damned. And the one from The Damned goes, yeah, I got a royalty check for People Equal Shit. And I didn't know what that was. So I asked my friend and he goes, that's a Slipknot song. And so you never accidentally gets the royalty checks.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That can happen. I know that. If I was him, I would have kept that quiet because he's probably getting quite a lot of royalties for that one. I don't think the other Marc Hudson, if he got my royalties, would be like extremely impressed by it or anything, but yeah.
And then the last question before I let you go, is kind of a self-serving question here, but what level at all was Van Halen an influence on you? And the reason I asked that is because, yes, you're a blonde frontman, but unlike David Lee Roth, you're about the music, you actually sing the vocal melodies, and you're very technical, which is kind of like the opposite of his approach to it. But at the same time, you gotta go hard rock, Van Halen influenced.
Okay, so I would say that like I listened to a lot of Van Halen actually as a kid, but it was never really like my jam, but I liked it, and my brother would listen to it quite a lot. but saying that, I actually never saw them live, like even in like VHS or anything, so I kind of didn't even know what they looked like. So I didn't even, because yeah, like obviously the singer doing all his cool like stage like flips or whatever he does is like really cool, but I was completely unaware of it. So for me, they were just people on an album, so I kind of didn't really know who I was listening to. But you know, musically, definitely really good. Just not something that was like really my jam, I guess.
Interesting. Well, Mark, thank you for the many years of great music. Congrats on the solo record. Looking forward to the next New York gig, a DragonForce, etc. And just keep up all the great work out there.
Cool. Nice one, man. Thanks a lot for the interview.
Paltrocast.